Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumritam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijan Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vindavaneshwari Vishavanu Sudadevi Pranamami Haripriya Panchakalpatarupascha Kripa Sindhubheva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, thank you all for coming. So today we will cover Shishopanishad mantras number 9 to 14. These are very confusing mantras. But first I will answer inquiries submitted by devotees and I'll also bring the striking points. Question number 1 is, please explain mantra number 5. So we already discussed that mantra number 5 is about contradictions. So these contradictions prove his inconceivable potencies. So first he says walk but does not walk. So these inconceivable potencies does not mean we cannot understand him at all. By logic, we cannot understand absolute truth. Does not mean absolute truth is illogical. Rather, absolute truth is beyond anything material. Then it says far away but near. So this refers to that Paramatma is very near to everyone. Even if someone embraces you, he cannot come as close as Paramatma is. While at the same time, Supreme Personality of Godhead is far away in the spiritual world performing pastimes, meaning for a surrendered soul, he is always within reach, whereas for an unsurrendered soul, he is far away. And then it says within everything, yet outside of everything. So refers to Paramatma within and refers to universal form as outside of everything. So we don't have to get hung up on these contradictions. We have to just park our questions beyond a point and wait for some more purification to really be able to understand what these are doing. Does that help with the inquiry? All right. There are a few questions related to Ekadashi. First, question number 2, part 1 is, why are our scriptures or fasting not mandatory for Hindus as other religions do with clear guidelines and instructions for adherents? Why so much leniency and variety for everyone to follow whatever they think is right? So all these so many religions in the material world, Krishna did not create these. And all the so-called religious books under the respective religions, these books are made by humans. So humans under the spell of modes of material nature have created all these so many religions and religious books. Sanatan Dharma is the original religion. Sanatan means eternal. An eternal dharma of the soul is to serve Krishna. So Sanatan Dharma is not restricted to any particular set of society. And Krishna wants us to use our free will properly to naturally come to serving Krishna. Therefore, Krishna does not interfere with free will of anyone. So under ignorance, people use their free will in whichever way they like, and they have created all these religions. And we discussed this same question here yesterday at the Path 6 and 7 inquiry, where Sumnima pointed out a correct point that if on day one you tell everybody that there are thousands of rules and regulations for you to follow, well, they will all run away instead of little by little coming to Krishna. So yes, I understand that we should follow, but first to understand that it's not restricted to Hindus. Like ISKCON is not focused on Hindus. ISKCON is Sanatan Dharma. It's open to everyone. Does that answer the inquiry? Okay. Part B of the inquiry is that why is Govinda's restaurant serving non-fasting food on Ekadashi day when all should be fasting, while Muslims during Ramadan restaurants in mosque will not be allowed to open. So Govinda's restaurant is not restricted to devotees only. Hence, to cater to materialistic people, variety of food is served. So I have had the same inquiry earlier that why not only serve Ekadashi prasadam on Ekadashi day. Now, I am assuming restaurants in mosques are restricted to Muslims only. And because Muslims fast during Ramadan, hence there is no one to eat anything. Hence, I'm assuming the restaurants in mosque remain closed. Again, this is my Pratyaksha Praman. You do not have to accept my answer to this inquiry. But because Govinda's restaurant is catering to everybody's need, not just devotees, therefore it's serving all variety of food. Does that help with the inquiry? Part C of the question is, people fasting are even divided on which day to fast, some following India time while being physically in Toronto when we are at a different location. So those who do not study scriptures are the ones who do not follow the rules properly. As you all are studying scriptures, hence you follow Ekadashi rules and times properly. Because the way the time is calculated, the Ekadashi fasting time and the time to break the fast vary from country to country. So if you are in a particular country and a city, should follow the local calendar for Ekadashi days and Ekadashi times and Dwadashi day to break the fast. Don't follow India time in Toronto or one country time to another country time. Does that help with these inquiries? All right. Question number 3. I am struggling to understand how to react to emotions such as anger when seeing unfairness or sadness. This is not envy. What are some of practical statements I can tell myself when I feel such emotions so that I can redirect myself towards Krishna? So this is described at great length in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, chapters 17 and 18, where Dharma teaches us how to live and react to miseries. So I will only briefly explain right now. You can consider to listen to class recordings of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, chapter 17 and 18. I think should be 3 classes about. So Parikshit Maharaj came to this location where Dharma and earth were physically hurt by Kalyu. So all these are personifications. Personification of Dharma is in the form of bull. Personification of earth is in the form of cow. And personification of Kalyug is dressed like a king, although he is Shudra. So Parikshit Maharaj asked to Dharma and earth, who hurt you? Now, even though Kalyug was standing right there, Dharma did not identify the perpetrator because by identifying the perpetrator, I myself become the perpetrator. Rather, one should focus on identifying and rectifying own self. So Dharma is the personality of religion, said that it is very difficult to ascertain a particular cause of suffering. First he says, is mind the cause of suffering? Like some philosophers say, mind is the cause of happiness and distress because mind produces happiness and distress. The Vaishnava understanding is that mind is dull matter. Mind does not have quality to direct the senses. The second reason Dharma gives is performer himself the cause? That action is not independent because action is performed by a performer. Hence, performer himself is the cause of his own happiness and distress. Means the law of karma, our deeds are the cause of suffering. The Vaishnava understanding is that for any action, there are 5 factors involved. One is super soul's sanction. Second is execution by Prakriti. Third is what the jiva is desiring. Fourth is the senses. And fifth is the endeavor in self. So of these 5 factors, super soul's sanction is the most important because without sanction of super soul, no action can be performed, good or bad. Now, Dharma gives third reason that nature could be the cause. Some followers of Sankhya philosophy say that nature is the cause of my suffering. Due to combination of matter, we get happiness and distress. The Vaishnava understanding is that nature or Prakriti works under the direction of Supreme Lord, as is described in Bhagavad Gita 9.10, Maya Adhyakshena Prakriti. Prakriti does not do anything independent of Krishna. And then Dharma gives the fourth reason that Devam. Some philosophers say Devam means some superhuman higher power is the cause of my suffering. The Vaishnava understanding is that Supreme Lord is the source of demigods, as is described in Bhagavad Gita 10.2. The Supreme Lord has given powers to demigods for administration of the universe. The demigods are not acting independently of the Supreme Lord. Supreme Lord is in control. So Dharma, the personality of Dharma, he is giving all these reasons. He is saying it is very difficult to ascertain as to what is the cause of my suffering. Is it mind? Is it performer himself? Is it nature? Is it Devam? What exactly is the cause? I don't know. This is when Parikshit Maharaj's inquiry. So the Vaishnava understanding and the conclusion from all this is that nothing is possible without the sanction of the Lord. Speculative philosophers do not recognize sanction of the Lord. Devotees do not accuse wrongdoers because devotees understand that wrongdoers are made to act for my karmic reaction, and wrongdoers cannot act without the sanction of the Supreme Lord. Hence, the devotees tolerate the miseries. So the example is that Parikshit Maharaj wanted to get a statement from Dharma and earth against the wrongdoers. But as devotees, Dharma and earth, in the form of bull and cow, declined to provide a statement to Parikshit Maharaj, giving all these reasons. They said, I don't know what is the cause of my suffering. The bull and the cow, means the Dharma and earth, clearly knew Kali is the cause of suffering. And as devotees, they also knew that without sanction of Lord, no one can inflict troubles onto me. So devotees also know from Bhagavad Gita chapter 18 verses 13 to 19 that for any action, there are 5 causes, which I described a few minutes ago. And of these 5 factors, super soul's sanction is the most important, because without this sanction, no action can be performed. Hence, devotees or Vaishnavas believe that everything is sanction of the Lord. Now, a person may forget his past and present misdeeds. But according to Bhagavad Gita 13.23, super soul is present in everyone as witness. Devotees know this fact. Therefore, devotees discharge their duties sincerely without being overly anxious of rewards. And a devotee's attitude towards suffering, from all this discussion, the devotee's attitude towards suffering is described that even if devotees see mischief mongers, they do not accuse the mischief mongers for the sufferings inflicted, because one who identifies the perpetrator, he himself becomes the perpetrator. So devotees take it for granted that the mischief monger is made to act by some indirect cause of my own bad karma. Therefore, they tolerate the sufferings, thinking the sufferings to be God-given in small doses. Otherwise, my suffering should have been very great, because I have done many bad things. So Vaishnava, devotees, they understand that Supreme Lord is the ultimate sanctioner and witness. Therefore, devotees simply discharge their duties sincerely without being overly anxious for rewards. Now, Srila, in all these chapters and in all this discussion, Srila Prabhupada has given 3 specific verses on how a devotee should live in this world. Everybody gets miseries. Material world is a place of misery. You cannot avoid misery. So how to live in this world? Srila Prabhupada has given 3 references for us to follow. We'll read those references right now. First is Bhagavad Gita 8.7. Somebody can bring it up and try to recite and read the translation. The second reference is Srimad Bhagavatam 10.14.8, and the third reference is 4.8.34. So I will bring up the Srimad Bhagavatam verses on screen. Somebody can please read 8.7 translation. You can also recite if you like.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. May I?
Yeah, go ahead, Abhishek.
Bhagavad Gita 8.7 Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu maam anusmarayodhyacha Maya arpita mano buddhir maam evashyasya samshayah. Translation. Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed onto me, you will attain me without doubt.
Right, so 8.7 is pre-action meditation, that we should always remember Krishna before doing the activity, while doing the activity. This way, everything gets offered to Krishna, and the result is that we go back to home to Krishna. Now 10.14.8 is on the screen as a very famous verse. Kamana, you want to read the translation from the screen that is highlighted? Kamana?
Yes, Prabhuji. Translation, my dear Lord, one who honestly waits for you to bestow your causeless mercy upon him, all the while patiently suffering the reactions of his past misdeeds and offering you respectful obeisances with his heart, words, and body is surely eligible for liberations, for it has become his rightful claim.
Right? So one who simply offers obeisances, means continuous devotional service with body, mind, and soul, tolerating everything, he is qualified to get liberated. So this is a second verse on how we should live. And the third verse is 4.8.34. So 4.8.34 is how we can be non-envious to others. While we are in the material world, envy seems very natural. Raksha, you want to read the translation and purport?
Yes, Prabhuji. Translation: Every man should act like this when he meets a person more qualified than himself. He should be very pleased when he meets someone less qualified than himself. He should be compassionate towards him. And when he meets someone equal to himself, he should make friendship with him. In this way, one is never affected by the threefold miseries of this material world. Purport: Generally, when we find someone more qualified than ourselves, we become envious of him. When we find someone less qualified, we deride him. And when we find someone equal, we become very proud of our activities. These are the causes of all material tribulations. The great sage Narada therefore advised that a devotee should act perfectly. Instead of being envious of a more qualified man, one should be jolly to receive him. Instead of being oppressive to the less qualified man, one should be compassionate towards him, just to raise him to the proper standard. And when one meets as equal, instead of being proud of one's own activities before him, one should treat him as a friend. One should also have compassion for the people in general who are suffering due to forgetfulness of Krishna. These important functions will make one happy within this material world. Hare Krishna.
Right? Very practical reason that Prabhupada says, purport is bang to the point, that generally we are envious of everyone, that when we meet someone more qualified, we become envious of him. When we find someone less qualified, we deride him. And when we find someone equal, we are competitive with him. Therefore, we have material turbulations. These are the causes of our material turbulations. And the solution is given by Srila Narad Muni, that when we see a devotee person or even materialistic person more qualified, I should rejoice and welcome him instead of oppressing a less qualified person. I should be compassionate to him. And when we meet someone who is equal in qualification to us, instead of being competitive or being proud for our own self, no, make friends with him. So very important verses Prabhupada has pointed out on how we should live. So I gave 8.7, 10.14.8, 4.8.34 on how we should live so that we are not affected by all these material turbulences. Does that answer the inquiry? I'm pretty sure many would be having similar situations, not just the devotee who was asked this inquiry.
Hare Krishna, yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Everybody on the same page?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you. And if you really want, you can consider to listen to Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 17 and 18 discussion. I only briefly described. There's a whole discussion. Or you can wait. Srimad Bhagavatam is going to start in a couple of weeks in this batch. This discussion will anyway happen very soon in the Bhagavatam batch. Question number 4. The killer of the soul is destined to enter into darkest regions of ignorance to suffer perpetually. Please, could you tell us why is ignorance portrayed as darkness, as darkest? Does it mean darker than death or any karma phala? Can you provide some examples? So the result of ignorance is repeated birth and death in the material world. Material worlds are darkest regions of existence. Hence, there is a need for sun and moon. So Krishna has explained that in the spiritual worlds, you do not need sun and moon because spiritual worlds are not dark, they are self-effulgent. Now, birth and death itself is darkness. Now, example are just see around how each and every soul is suffering in the material world. Although it looks like there are so many questions, but they are all related to the same point that birth and death itself is darkness and everybody in the material world is suffering. Does that help with this inquiry? All right. Question number 5. What does it mean when it is said that God is present both within and without everything? So we already discussed just a few minutes ago that refers to Paramatma within, and when it refers to outside means it refers to universal form, that how everything is contained within universe, within the universal form. Does that answer the inquiry?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you.
Last question for today. Simultaneous study of Bhagavad Gita, Nectar of Devotion, Sri Isopanishad is really helpful in making me to remember Krishna most of the times. Very good. I appreciate you studying so many scriptures simultaneously and all listening with rapt attention. And you have the correct outcome of being able to remember Krishna most of the times. So the question is, but I feel really overwhelmed at times and feel that my understanding of everything is incomplete. What should I do about it? Can you please help me? So this is a similar inquiry from last class where Sumnima had asked similar question and my response is going to be identical. from last class. I'm going to play the same video again. That this is actually humility. That if you think you don't know, means you actually know. And if somebody claims that I know everything, that person actually does not know. So let's hear from this short lecture.
Why does the advanced devotee think himself very neophyte? Well, it's something like, even in the sphere of mundane learning, a really very highly learned person understands how little he understands. When you know a little about a subject, whatever it may be, you tend to think, oh, I know so much, because you know more than the average person. But then when you go on and on and on, and you start to see how vast the topic is, you realize, even though you may be the world expert in that topic, but you realize how much more there is to understand, and you realize you don't really know very much at all. So the most advanced devotee has some insight into how the glories of Krishna are so magnificent, infinite, and even though compared to other people, it might be seen that I know so much, but I know so little in comparison to the full extent of his glories.
So it is very good place that you are in where you think that I don't know, because that's a very good sign. It's a sign of humility. You should continue that and just continue the study of scriptures, and you will know more and more about Krishna. Now, do understand, we'll cover this in Srimad Bhagavatam. Many think that if I understand Srimad Bhagavatam, then I will know everything about Krishna. Well, that's a misconception, because Srimad Bhagavatam is like headline news. So if you have a whole newspaper and if you only read the headlines, that's what Srimad Bhagavatam is in comparison to the entire activities of Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam is just a very tiny glance. It is just given so that we can get purified by associating with Krishna, so that we can go back home, back to Godhead, and have everything in real time as to how so enormous the volume of activities are there of Krishna, and they are all so magnificent. Exactly what we heard. Does that answer the inquiries?
Yes, Prabhuji.
All right. So now stacking points from last class. We have 6 slides. This is slide number 1. Take a snapshot. Slide number 2. Slide number 3. Slide number 4. Number 5. And slide 6. Similarly, you have 3 slides for Prabhupada lecture stacking point. So this is slide number 1. Slide number 2. And slide number 3. So it's only one or two devotees who are not endeavoring on the spiritual endeavor. I mean, I have said so many times, including to the devotees, I've had offline chats, but if you are not transforming yourself, I can't help you. Studying scriptures, yes, it is good, but you need to endeavor. The endeavor is meant for you to remember Krishna throughout the week. Yeah, the 2 hours that we assemble together and study, yeah, this is very good. But then what rest of the week you are simply focused on material duties. Well, that doesn't really help. So you should endeavor on the spiritual endeavors that I give you. There's no point in me telling you more to have a offline chat with me. You already have had offline chats with me that you said, okay, you will transform, but you haven't really transformed. All right. So have undivided attention. We'll discuss Sri Iso Upanishad mantras number 9, 10, and 11, and then mantras number 12, 13, and 14. These are very confusing mantras. I mean, the whole Isho Upanishad, you can say, but among them, these mantras 9, 10, and 11, and 12, 13, 14 are very confusing. So mantras number 9, 10, and 11 are linked mantras. And then mantras number 12, 13, 14 are also linked mantras. A simple read of these mantras can be very confusing. So I would request Priyanka to read mantras number 9, 10, and 11 translations. And you all also follow and you all tell me, does this make sense? Priyanka, 9, 10, and 11 translations.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Mantra 9. Those who engage in the culture of Nisayant activities shall enter into the darkest region of ignorance. Worse still are those engaged in the culture of so-called knowledge. Mantra 10. The wise have explained that one result is derived from the culture of knowledge and that a different result is obtained from the culture of nescience. Mantra 11. Only one who can learn the process of nescience and that of transcendental knowledge side by side can transcend the influence of repeated birth and death and enjoy the full blessing of immortality. Hare Krishna.
Everybody, what's your reaction by reading these 9, 10, 11 translation? Does this make sense?
No, Prabhuji.
What does not make sense?
Lots of words that could mean so many different things here.
Very good. Rest of you? Silence. I got silence from rest of you. Does this make sense to you? I don't know what silence means. Does it mean you understood and we can stop here, or you don't understand?
Hare
No,
Krishna.
Prabhuji, I couldn't understand.
Didn't
Okay.
understand, Prabhu.
Okay.
It seems that there are some codified words, but the meaning of those words is not clear.
Okay. Rest of you, how many of you want to know?
I would
One.
like to know, Prabhuji.
Yes, one.
So let me explain. I'll explain and we'll read these mantras again, and then these will make sense. So if you go back to your Sri Iso Upanishad overview, so introduction to mantra number 3 say live in harmony with Ishvara. Mantra number 4 to 8 said Ishvara can be understood by spiritual vision. To cultivate spiritual vision, you have to understand Ishvara. And for this, I have to cultivate vidya as well as I have to do worship. So mantras number 9, 10 and 11 talk about vidya, means knowledge, and these are very confusing mantras. And mantra number 12 to 14 talk about the worship, also very confusing mantras. Now, mantra number 9 says, those in ignorance will go to darkness, and those in knowledge will go to greater darkness. Hurry, how do you understand this? That those in ignorance will go to darkness, that you can understand. But those in knowledge will go to greater darkness. All right, and the confusion further continues that mantra number 10 says, wise understand a different result is achieved by the culture of knowledge versus a different result is achieved by the culture of nescience. And then mantra number 11 says that when one cultivates both vidya and avidya together, means when one cultivates both knowledge and ignorance together, then one will be able to go beyond birth and death to attain liberation. Now we always keep saying that I need to get out of ignorance, but mantra number 11 says you need both ignorance and knowledge. So let me further explain that what Sumnima correctly identified, that the words, as well as Abhishek Prabhu and others also, that the words used in these mantras are very confusing. So mantra number 9, 10 and 11, the words vidya means knowledge and the word avidya means ignorance, have different meanings. Yes, the word vidya, knowledge, and the word avidya, ignorance, have different meanings. In mantra number 9, avidya means ignorance, say running after sense gratification. That those who live for sense gratification, they will go to darkness. Okay, this is simple to understand, that they are living a materialistic sense gratification life. They will go to darkness. Then mantra number 9, the second line says, Vidyayam rata means knowledge. So this is not real knowledge, but this is so-called knowledge that promotes sense gratification. So those with knowledge, if they engage in sense gratification, they commit far greater sinful activities than somebody who is already in ignorance engaging in sense gratification. Therefore, those in knowledge engaging in sense gratification, they will go to deeper darkness. Then mantra number 10, the words avidya and vidya are referring to material and spiritual life. So the avidya and vidya of mantra number 9 means knowledge and ignorance of mantra number 9 are clubbed as avidya, means ignorance, in mantra number 10, means this is referring to avidya, is referring to material life. Meaning, sense gratification is avidya, is ignorance. Whether one is engaging in sense gratification in ignorance or in knowledge, either way is ignorance, is avidya. Therefore, mantra number 10, the word avidya combines the words vidya and avidya of mantra number 9 to be avidya, to be the material life, because whether you are engaging in sense gratification in knowledge or in ignorance, well, you are in ignorance either way. Therefore, mantra number 10, avidya, refers to the pursuit of material pleasures, and it refers to material knowledge also. Well, it is so-called knowledge. It's not really helping you to get out of material world. And in mantra number 10, the word vidya refers to cultivation of spiritual knowledge or cultivation of Krishna consciousness. Therefore, I say that the words vidya and avidya in these mantra number 9, 10, and 11 refer to different things. Now, mantra number 11, avidya means knowledge for bodily maintenance, for healthy and harmonious life without too much disturbance. Now, this avidya, which is described in mantra number 11, for bodily maintenance, for your health, for a harmonious life, this avidya is required if you want to practice spiritual life harmoniously. Example, one can navigate the ocean if one has knowledge of the ocean as to how the waves can be dangerous. So you need that material world knowledge, even though it is ignorance, but you need that knowledge because we are in the material world. And in mantra number 11, the word vidya refers to the same point as in mantra number 10, that vidya refers to the knowledge of the spiritual knowledge or the pursuit of Krishna consciousness. So if somebody has only material knowledge, he's going to go to hell. Well, that is obvious. If somebody has only spiritual knowledge and no material knowledge, well, that person is going to go to bigger hell. Yes, I said it right. If somebody has only material knowledge, he is going to go to hell. And if somebody has only spiritual knowledge, he is going to go to bigger hell because he cannot cross the ocean of material world. Therefore, you need a balance of both material knowledge and spiritual knowledge. Then you will be able to cross the ocean of material world. So the example to understand this is, let's say if somebody wants to cross the ocean. So material world is compared to an ocean that somebody wants to cross the ocean, but the person is simply focused on his goal of spiritual world, Goloka Vrindavan. He doesn't know how to swim in the ocean. He simply said, I have knowledge of Goloka Vrindavan, spiritual knowledge. I am going to reach there. Are Baba, you will not. Because you don't know how to swim through the ocean to reach to your destination. Therefore, if somebody has only spiritual knowledge, he is going to go to bigger hell because he will not be able to cross the ocean of material existence. Therefore, mantra number 11 says you need both avidya and vidya so that you can cross the ocean of material existence and then you can reach your goal. I will pause here for questions, comments, realizations. I still have a lot of talking to do. Everybody should point out or say something what you understood and what you didn't understood.
Hare Krishna.
Madan Prabhu, go ahead.
So why one would with a lot of spiritual knowledge only will go to deeper hell?
Because
Like
he will not be able to cross the ocean. He will not be able to live in the material world.
because he's always in thinking of Krishna and he's
You need to keep the body and soul together. Right? You need to know how to live in the material world, not to earn money. So we discussed what mantra number 11 says. that you need avidya and vidya. What mantra number 11, avidya, is saying for bodily maintenance, for healthy, harmonious life. Well, you need to know that knowledge, how to keep your body together. Matan
So some
Prabhu,
material knowledge is needed.
right? So that's why mantra number 11 says you need a balance between avidya and vidya. So mantra number 11, avidya, does not refer to sense gratification. Mantra number 11, avidya, is referring to maintenance of a healthy body to live a harmonious life. Therefore, I said that in these three mantras, mantra number 9, 10, 11, the words vidya and avidya have different meanings. Matan Prabhu?
Okay, thank you.
Abhishek Prabhu?
For this point which you just read, that only spiritual knowledge is not enough, how do we see examples of um, devotees like Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj or Madhven Puri, like who had no uh, like no material, like no like they did not live for their body at all. If someone gave something they take, otherwise they would
Yeah,
not.
so very good. That's exactly what I was trying to explain to Matan Prabhu, that you have the knowledge for bodily maintenance to live a harmonious life, not to earn money. That's exactly the point I'm trying to make. What mantra number 11 says, that you know just about enough to keep your body and soul together. So if all these devotees that you referenced, well, if they get sick, they will know they have to take some medication. They have to go to doctor or apply something if they get a cut. Well, that is bodily knowledge. If you look at from a literal sense, body is ignorance. Well, why are they concerned about that knowledge? No, they know just about enough to keep the body and soul together. Abhishek Prabhu?
Thank you.
Rest of you, everybody should try to ask or explain something or the other. Sumnima first.
So, Prabhuji, is it like having common sense rather than material knowledge that we're referring here?
So it depends on which mantra you are referring to.
No, the topic we're just discussing about.
Yeah, common sense, yes, you are correct. You need common sense to live in the
Mm.
material world. Otherwise, you will not be able to live in the material world. So you may be a pure devotee, you may be a sannyasi, but if you don't have common sense, well, you will not be able to live in the material world. You cannot just say, I am only focused on Krishna. Arey Baba, but you need common sense in the material world. Sumnima?
So, is it also like predestined in terms of how much common sense we get, or do they, like, for example, how much we earn is kind of predestined in the same way? If somebody is Krishna conscious, is meant to be Krishna conscious, do they get some sort of predestined common sense so they don't have to worry about that? Does that
So,
make sense?
yeah, so we have discussed this, that money wise is what you get by your karma. You cannot get more money simple by endeavor. It doesn't work that way. We have had arguments with Brijesh Prabhu on this in our this class. For those devotees who have been there from before, we have had arguments on this, and we had read, I think it should be 3.27.8, the verse. I'm only going by my memory for the verse reference, that we cannot earn more money by our own endeavor. Otherwise, everyone would be a billionaire and a millionaire. But Krishna consciousness is not predestined. You have to endeavor to increase your Krishna consciousness. You may be born with certain amount of faith. So faith is referring to Krishna conscious faith. And if you don't endeavor, then you lose your faith, because faith is like a muscle. Just as somebody born with a heavy built muscle, and if he's not exercising, well, he's going to lose the power of the muscle. Or if somebody is born with a very thin muscle. If he exercises, he will build his muscle. Similarly, Krishna consciousness, somebody is born with lot of faith, but then he associates with woman, associates with, when I say woman, mean associates with opposite sex, and then associates with materialistic people. Well, he's going to lose his Krishna consciousness. Or if somebody does not have Krishna consciousness from before, if he engages in Krishna conscious activities, such as reading scriptures, doing services, associating with devotees, doing japa, well, that will increase his faith. So Krishna consciousness is the only thing that is not destined. You have to endeavor to get your Krishna consciousness result. Sumnima, does that help you?
Yes, Prabhuji. So here, in terms of the word vidya, is it like now, if I know how to keep my body and body together, I'm done with the vidya part. So now I just need to do with the rest of the Krishna consciousness activities. So
Correct.
and
Correct.
okay,
Correct.
okay.
So in mantra number 10, the word vidya refers to material knowledge that we don't need. Therefore, the mantra number 9, vidya and avidya, is combined as avidya in mantra number 10, because material knowledge, well, that is not going to help you. But in mantra number 10, the word vidya, as well as mantra number 11, the word vidya refers to spiritual knowledge. I'm hoping I did not jumble the words between the various mantras. Everybody clear on that point? Sumnima also?
Yes, Prabhuji, a bit clear.
All right. Subhash Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Babaji. My question was that, like, you said we have to gain material knowledge, right? So we have to like be updated with the latest older things like newspaper and anything going around to the world to be updated with those material knowledge also, or what kind of material knowledge here it is mentioning?
So, glad you mentioned. So many of you have heard a short lecture from my spiritual Maharaj earlier. Anybody remembers about the breaking news lecture? What do you remember from that?
Krishna Prabhuji, I remember that the one thing I remember that he presented everything very nicely, and I think he mentioned that there is no need of like looking at all this material world literature. Instead, we can focus on spiritual literature.
All right, very good. So let me play that again, and that will answer Subhas Prabhu's inquiry. Let me bring up on screen. All right, let me bring up on screen and I will play.
Here's some breaking news. Stop watching breaking news. What is it? Breaking news is news that breaks your concentration from everything that's important in your life. It also breaks your heart. There's only so much shocking information that a simple human being can take in and survive emotionally in life. It's not necessary. The ancient sage Sanatana Goswami used to say, don't take teachings from someone who's motivated by profit. If they're trying to make money on you by giving you information, it means that the information is contaminated. Don't take it in. Here's what I do. I don't listen to the 24-hour news cycle. I avoid it. I watch other things that are positive. And here's what happens. Anything I need to know comes to my attention on the street. If it rises to a high enough threshold, someone will tell me about a world event that I really need to know about. 99% of breaking news is not only unnecessary, is very disturbing. But we needn't give up hearing altogether. There are fantastical stories in the ancient Vedic wisdom literatures, like Mahabharata. The Bhagavad Gita took place on a battlefield, one of the greatest battles of all time. And during the fight, the greatest teachings of all time, the yoga teachings, were given from Krishna to Arjuna. Similarly, the Srimad Bhagavatam gives wonderful stories from the history of the world and infuses it with spiritual knowledge. We can transfer our attention from the sensationalized to that information that's altogether interesting but transformational. This is the process of Bhakti Yoga. Try tuning out the breaking news cycle for 1 month and tune in to spiritual literature and see how your mind becomes purified, happy, and also entertained. Let me know. Write to me and tell me, what kinds of literatures are you listening to that are enriching your mind and bringing you to a higher spiritual level?
Okay, sir.
All right. Subhash Prabhu, does that answer your inquiry?
Yeah, Prabhuji, it's really helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, so devotees from earlier, when they have heard this, some of them have connected with my spiritual master. You are also welcome to connect with my spiritual master. So basically, we don't need to worry about all this material world knowledge. You just have to know bare minimum. So I will tell you, I listen to the news or the radio in the morning when I have to leave home for two things. I need to know the traffic when I'm traveling. That is my route blocked? Do I need to take a different route? Or say weather, what kind of jacket, or whether I need to put on a rain gear or not. Those are the only things I'm focused, because I need to have just about enough information. The rest of the time, I don't listen to news. And my Guru Maharaj rightly pointed out that if there is some incident which is rising to a high threshold, well, it will come to your attention by somehow. So don't worry about watching news 24 hours. Therefore, my Guru Maharaj started by saying, breaking news, stop watching breaking news. Subhash Prabhu?
Yeah, Prabhuji, this is even more helpful. Yeah, thank you for your examples. And
Yeah,
now it's clear, Prabhuji.
You can write to my spiritual master that you are studying what you are studying and ask for guidance. So
How to connect with him, Prabhuji?
Say that again, Subhash Prabhu.
So you said I can connect with him. How can I connect with your
So
spiritual
on the
master?
video, there was his email. You can just Google Vaisheshika Das Adhikari and his connecting link will come. But on the video, you can listen to the recording again, and there was his point of contact on how to contact him.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you so much.
So we disciples have his personal email. I won't give you his personal email, but you can write on the general contact that we have. I mean, we have his phone number. We can write directly to his phone number, but I won't give you that. So write what the message say. Other devotees have also connected with him. So understand that he may not respond to you right away. He travels a lot. At some point he will respond to you. And in the month of August, around 20 or 21st, I can't remember the date exactly, my Guru Maharaj is visiting Toronto Temple. So all those who are in and around Toronto will have the opportunity to meet my Guru Maharaj in person, just as other devotees met with him the previous times. Priyadarshini?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can you once again explain the mantra number 10?
All right. So mantra number 9 say, avidya means ignorance, that you are running after sense gratification, you are in ignorance. And mantra number 9, knowledge, is so-called knowledge, is material world knowledge. So you may be still running after sense gratification. You are using your knowledge to to engage in sense gratification. But whether you are in knowledge or whether you are in ignorance and engaging in sense gratification, well, that both is at bodily level. It's still in ignorance. Therefore, mantra number 10, the word avidya, combines the vidya and avidya of mantra number 9 and says it is avidya. Both knowledge and ignorance of material world is ignorance because it is at bodily level. It does not help you to get out of material world. And mantra number 10, vidya, refers to spiritual knowledge or Krishna conscious knowledge. Priya?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Rest of you?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So this mantra 11 mentions some process of nascence. So what is the process of nascence?
So mantra number 11 says you need both avidya and vidya. So in mantra number 11, the avidya is referring to bodily maintenance so that you can keep your body healthy, so that you can have a harmonious life. So this is avidya. The process is bodily maintenance is avidya. But you need that avidya process, that you need to keep your body fit. That's what it's referring to. Kunal Prabhu?
Oh, yeah, Prabhuji. So then isn't this contradictory? Like many times we say, oh, this is Maya, don't do this. Like in the devotee circle, we say, okay,
Yeah.
don't go to the restaurant, it is like they serve meat, that is Maya.
So those are different things, right? So you are referring to mantra number 9, where it says avidya of material world, you are going to restaurant, of course, is avidya, or knowledge. That is material life is mantra number 9. But mantra number 11, the word avidya refers to basic necessities of your body so that you can live a healthy and harmonious life. Kunal Prabhu?
Okay, got it. Hare Krishna.
Rest of you who did not speak, many of you wanted to understand. Do you all understand or you have questions? I still have a lot of talking to do. All right. So now with this understanding of what I described, let's read mantra number 9, 10 and 11 translations again to understand whether we are following what we just discussed. So Sumnima will read at a slow pace, one mantra at a time. We'll pause and I will briefly explain and we'll continue. Sumnima?
Mantra 9. Those who engage in the culture of nescience activities shall enter into the darkest region of ignorance. Worse still are those engaged in the culture of so-called knowledge.
Right, so it says avidya, those who are in avidya or ignorance, they will go to hell. And then it says those who are in so-called knowledge, well, you are engaging in sense gratification with so-called knowledge where you are committing greater sinful activities because you do have knowledge. But therefore you will go to deeper darkness. Sumnima, continue.
Mantra 10. The wise have explained that one result is derived from the culture of knowledge and that a different result is obtained from the culture of nescience.
Right, so in mantra number 10 says that you get different results. Knowledge in mantra number 10 refers to spiritual knowledge, that you get a different result. You go back home to Godhead. And mantra number 10, the word avidya or ignorance has combined the avidya and vidya of mantra number 9, both knowledge and ignorance of mantra number 9 as ignorance in mantra number 10. Everybody on the same page? Sumnima, continue.
Mantra 11. Only one who can learn the process of nescience and that of transcendental knowledge side by side can transcend the influence of repeated birth and death and enjoy the full blessing of immortality.
So mantra number 11, you said you need a balance. You need avidya as well as vidya to transcend the material world. So here, mantra number 11, avidya is referring to basic bodily necessities. So that you can keep your body and soul healthy together, and you are able to harmoniously practice spirituality. And mantra number 11, the word knowledge or vidya refers to spiritual knowledge. Everybody on the same page? Questions, comments, realizations?
So I have a question. So mantra number 10 talks about both vidya and avidya. It says about one result from vidya and another result from avidya.
Yeah. The question is?
Yeah, it says that right understanding. So it talks about both. Yes.
Yeah, you are correct. That if you have material world ignorance plus material world knowledge, the result is you will continue in the material world. This is one result. So the wise understand that if I have only material world ignorance plus material world knowledge, I will continue material life. Therefore, mantra number 10 says this is ignorance. Whether or not you have material world knowledge, it is ignorance. And mantra number 10 says if you have knowledge, here the knowledge is referring to spiritual knowledge, well, then you will go back home to Godhead. Matan Prabhu?
Okay, thank you.
Now, I'm pretty sure everybody would want to have this discussion again, that how can knowledge be considered worse than ignorance? The answer is that misguided knowledge has the potential to hurt greater number of people, because on the surface it appears to be good and people blindly follow, not realizing that they are going on a wrong path. So all these pseudo spiritualists, specifically in India, they are hurting so many more people. And all those pseudo spiritualists taking ordinary people who don't have information, taking them on a wrong path, these pseudo spiritualists will go to bigger hell. Those who are following such pseudo spiritualists, they will of course go to hell because they are following a wrong path. But the pseudo spiritualists themselves, running a business in the name of spirituality, they will go to bigger hell. Prabhupada has said this in the scriptures, that when this business of spirituality will get finished, you are going to go to bigger hell. So this so-called vidya, means the knowledge of the material world, is condemned, where stress is placed on material advancement, plus there is exclusion of the most important part of life, meaning the exclusion of soul and exclusion of spirituality, exclusion to know Krishna. Well, both these points are condemned, that you are simply focused on material advancement and you are not focused on spirituality at all. Both are condemned. Therefore, this so-called vidya or so-called knowledge is condemned more than avidya, is condemned more than ignorance. And Prabhupada has given the example that a cobra is decorated with a jewel on his head. People go to get the jewel, not realizing that they are going towards cobra. The cobra will hurt you. Therefore, all those in this so-called knowledge are worse, because they are sending many more innocent people to hell. And mantra number 10, purport, explains the process of cultivating real knowledge. So except for devotees from batch 6 and 7, anybody remembers where in Bhagavad Gita we have studied the process of knowledge? Somebody?
Tadvidi Pranipatena, like approach a spiritual master and they will guide you.
Yeah, so that's a principle, but there's a detailed process of knowledge that we have to develop 20 some qualities. So Kunal Prabhu, 4.34 is correct. That you have to go to spiritual master to get the knowledge. And then what are the knowledge or what are the qualities? Where is it described? So in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13, verses 8 to 12 is the process of knowledge. These are the qualities that we have to develop. If you read mantra number 10 purport, Prabhupada references all those. That if you follow Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13, verses 8 to 12 qualities, you will develop spiritual vision of a Mahabhagavad. So the process to attain actual knowledge, means spiritual knowledge, is to hear from Krishna and Srila Prabhupada. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada calls the modern universities as centers of nescience. So universities simply focus on training how to make money so that you can enjoy in the material world. And Prabhupada has said in so many lectures that Prabhupada has traveled all over the world so many times. And Prabhupada said, I cannot find a university on the soul anywhere in the world when the soul is the most important part of the body. So take some notes. I will give you comparison between these various parts of Vidya and Avidya. You can make a 2-column. So first, Vidya means you utilize life for self-realization. And Avidya means knowledge for bodily maintenance. Then second, it says Vidya means knowledge for Krishna consciousness. And Avidya means knowledge for sense gratification. And then the third, Vidya, refers to sense gratification according to scriptures. And Avidya refers to unrestricted sense gratification. So on your Sri Upanishad overview chart, you can write the themes for mantras number 9, 10, and 11. So mantra number 9 theme is real knowledge and pseudo knowledge. Mantra number 10 theme is results of knowledge and nescience. Mantra number 11, both nescience and knowledge are required to transcend the material world ocean. Would you all like to read mantra number 9, 10, and 11 translations again and let me know if it makes sense now?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Ritu, go ahead. Read. Yeah, Ritu, go ahead.
Prabhuji, I have to start from mantra number 9.
9, 10, and 11 translations, yeah.
Hare Krishna, those who are engaged in the culture of nescient activities shall enter into the darkest region of ignorance. Worse still are those engaged in the so-called culture of knowledge. Mantra 10. The wise have explained to us that one result is derived from the culture of knowledge. and it is said that a different result is obtained from the culture of nescience. Mantra 11, translation. Only one who can learn the process of nescience and that of transcendental knowledge side by side can transcend the influence of repeated birth and death and enjoy the full blessings of immortality. Hare Krishna.
Does it make sense now? All right, silence doesn't help me. It's either yes or no. Got real silence.
So the process of nescience means avidya, yes, that knowledge of avidya.
Yeah, depends on which mantra you're looking at.
Then the last one, mantra 11.
Yeah,
They
mantra
say
11.
process of.
Yeah, process of nescience is referring to basic bodily needs.
Okay.
Sumnima?
I think I have understood a little bit, but I cannot still confidently say I've understood it to the T like we generally used to, but I think good to go for now, maybe.
Yeah, very good. When you read the purport, you will get more clarification as well. Very good. All right. So now mantra number 12, 13, 14, and they are identically confusing, and they have the same structure as mantra number 9, 10, and 11. So 9, 10, and 11 are guidelines for knowledge. Mantra number 9, 10, and 11 talk about vidya, means knowledge, as well as they talk about avidya also. Mantra number 12, 13, and 14 is guidelines for practice, means 12, 13, and 14 talk about the practice of worship. So both these sets of mantras, 12, 13, 14, have similar structure to mantra number 9, 10, and 11. So 9, 10, and 11 have the words vidya and avidya, means knowledge and ignorance. And mantras 12, 13, and 14 have the words sambhuti and asambhuti. So sambhuti refers to eternal and asambhuti refers to non-eternal. So sambhuti gives one result and asambhuti gives another result. Let's read mantra number 12, 13, 14 and then we will discuss to understand. Subhash Prabhu, 12, 13, 14 translations.
Mantra 12. Those who are engaged in the worship of demigods enter into the darkest region of ignorance, and still more so do the worshippers of the impersonal absolute. And mantra 13. It is said that one result is obtained by worshipping the supreme cause of all causes, and that another result is obtained by worshipping that which is not supreme. All this is heard from the undisturbed authorities who clearly explained it. Mantra 14. One should know perfectly the personality of Godhead and his transcendental name, as well as the temporary material creation with its temporary demigods, men and animals. When one knows these, he surpasses death and the ephemeral cosmic manifestation with it, and in the eternal kingdom of God, he enjoys his eternal life of bliss and knowledge.
Well, let me explain this again. So mantra number 12 says asambhuti refers to worship of demigods. This leads to darkness because worship of demigods, the result is material existence. It is darkness. And then in mantra number 12, the word sambhuti refers to so-called understanding of the absolute truth, means it refers to impersonal absolute, which is same as so-called knowledge from mantra number 9, 10, and 11 discussion. Therefore, the worship of impersonal absolute leads to greater darkness, because these impersonalists mislead innocent people to follow them, to follow these impersonalists by these impersonalists posing themselves as religionists. Now, demigod worshippers stay in the dark material world, similar to those pursuing knowledge for sense gratification. So Srila Prabhupada says that somebody in a jail is tied by iron shackles, or he is tied by gold shackles. Are Baba, they are still in jail and they are still in shackles. Does not matter. You are in jail and you are in shackles. So even if demigod worshippers get some material benefit, but they stay ignorant of spiritual truth, and these demigod worshippers, they continue the cycle of birth and death. Therefore, they are staying in darkness. It is repeatedly mentioned in scriptures that it is not easy to understand the absolute truth. Krishna has said this in 10.2, in 10.14, many other places. So if it is hard for demigods to understand the absolute truth, then what to say for ordinary human beings? So first time when Brahmaji heard Vedic literature, he thought that the import of Vedic literature was Karma Kanda. This is Brahmaji. His conclusion, first conclusion was that scriptures are saying Karma Kanda. Then Brahmaji read the scriptures second time, and then he thought Jnana was, or Gyan Path or Gyan Yoga was the conclusion. And then when he read the scriptures for the third time, that's when he understood the conclusion of scriptures is bhakti. So it takes time to understand Vedic literature. Therefore, absolute truth is not easy to understand. Now, this is a very common question. Well, that if we are not supposed to do demigod worship, then is demigod worship good or bad? Everybody, please try to answer. Is demigod worship good or bad?
It's bad.
All right. Rest of you? Is demigod worship good or bad?
Bad, Prabhuji.
Okay.
It's neither, Prabhuji. We just have to see them as devotee of Lord.
All right. Rest of you?
We can say demigods for increasing our bhakti towards Krishna, Prabhuji.
So is demigod worship good or bad?
It depends upon how we pray.
All right. Madan Prabhu?
Yeah, it's we not necessarily we don't have to worship demigods. Not necessary.
I understand, but what I'm saying is somebody worshipping demigod, is it good or bad?
It's bad because they are getting more and more entanglement.
Okay. Abhishek Prabhu?
It is still an indirect worship of Krishna. So on a comparative scale, it is bad, but there are other people who are worse also.
Very good. So the answer is whether demigod worship is good or bad. The answer is it depends on the level of the person. To understand this with an example, so say if somebody says to you, is my score of 60% marks in the exam, is it good or bad? Well, it depends. If I used to be at 40% level and now I got 60, then it is good. And previously, if I was at 80% and now I am at 60%, well, then it is bad. Similarly, the whole purpose of demigod worship is to enable people to gradually elevate. Therefore, if one can worship Krishna directly and at the first instance, then yeah, directly worship Krishna, then demigod worship is bad. But if somebody is still in animalistic lifestyle, if you ask him to do bhakti yoga, wake up at 4:30 for Mangalarti, he's not going to do it. He has to go a gradual process. For him, demigod worship is good because it gives him gradual step-by-step process. It gives him regulated sense gratification so that he can gradually come to bhakti yoga. So the answer is it depends. The conclusion is that the demigod worship is good for godless people, but demigod worship is bad for those who are already at the high level of devotion. Then mantra number 13 contrasts the two, means the worship of demigods versus the worship of so-called absolute truth, meaning the worship of Brahman effulgence. So the main theme of the purport in mantra number 13 is Dhira or bona fide Acharya explains from scriptures that all paths do not lead to the same goal. Unless one hears from bona fide acharyas, bona fide acharyas are never disturbed by changes to the material world. Unless you hear from such bona fide acharyas, one cannot have real transcendental knowledge. In Bhagavad Gita 9.25 clearly states that different results is attained by following different paths. So when one tries to artificially water down complex knowledge, the results in different people following different paths will be different. And therefore, different people end up following different paths because they keep hearing these different things from different people. Some even exclusively claim that my path is the only path. If you actually speak to Christians, they say, no, only my path, no other path is valid. Arey Baba, that is not correct. We have discussed this in 18.66 Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna has explained that Krishna sends his acharyas over the various millenniums. As long as you follow a bona fide path and follow it properly, not in a concocted way, then you can have various paths to reach to the same goal. So those who take to Krishna as the highest absolute truth, they follow the path of pure devotional service, just as Arjuna, to serve Krishna, killed his loving relatives. While those who do not take Krishna as the highest, they do social services, they do Manav Seva, humanitarian activities. So Srila Prabhupada says, to serve humans by humanitarian activities such as medical aid, and to simultaneously kill animals, well, that is no service to humanity. Real service to humanity is that which teaches us to surrender to Krishna and worship Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then mantra number 14 talks about balance, the same way as mantra number 11 talks about balance. Mantra number 14 also talks about balance. Just as because material world is temporary, does not mean everything has to be rejected. Rather, everything in the material world has to be utilized in Krishna's service. So mantra number 14 talks about balance between sambhuti and asambhuti. The word in mantra number 14 for asambhuti is vinashena. They have the same meaning. Vinashena and asambhuti are related words. So one needs to know material world. But knowing material world alone is not enough. Simultaneously, one needs to know spiritual world. Take shelter of Krishna and then you will be able to go back home to Godhead. Mantra number 14 purport explains deathlessness. Scientists' attempt to make this world deathless is futile. Deathlessness is only possible by proper understanding of Krishna's position plus acting accordingly as a soul and doing devotional services. That is mantra number 12, 13, 14. Would you like to read the translations again to see if we understand it properly?
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhu.
Prabhuji.
Go ahead, Abhishek Prabhu. Unmute.
Text 12, translation. Those who are engaged in the worship of demigods enter into the darkest region of ignorance, and still more so do the worshippers of the impersonal absolute. Text 13. It is said that one result is obtained by worshipping the supreme cause of all causes, and that another result is obtained by worshipping what is not supreme. All this is heard from the undisturbed authorities who clearly explained it. Text 14. One should know perfectly the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna and his transcendental name, form, qualities, and pastimes, as well as the temporary material creation with its temporary demigods, men and animals. When one knows these, he surpasses death and the ephemeral cosmic manifestation with it. And in the eternal kingdom of God, he enjoys his eternal life of bliss and knowledge.
Everybody on the same page? Questions, comments, realizations?
Prabhuji, in the verse 12, when it is described worship of impersonal absolute, so they also transcend, like if they go to Brahman effulgence, then they also get beyond material boundaries, right?
Yeah, we have discussed in 12.5, Krishna says Gyan Yoga is very difficult. Right? It's like creating a vacuum in your consciousness. That first, creating the vacuum is very difficult. And even if you are able to create the vacuum, sustaining that vacuum is even more difficult. So first, the process itself of Gyan Yoga is difficult. In embodied body, it's next to impossible to follow Gyan Yoga process. And say if somebody is able to follow the process of Gyan Yoga, well, what are they achieving? Brahman effulgence? Well, there's no activity. The soul cannot stay inactive. And they fall down. So what's the benefit of going to Brahman effulgence? You are anyway going to again fall down to material world someplace. Abhishek Prabhu, does that help you?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Rest of you?
So I have a question. So the demigod worshippers is a gradual process. So how about that people who are doing this puja services at the demigod temple? Do they go to the darkest region of hell? I mean,
Yeah,
like
we have discussed this, and we have heard from Chetan Chandas that today the way people are doing demigod worship is absolutely incorrect way of doing demigod worship. So nobody's getting any results from whatever demigod worship they think they are doing, because each demigod has a different process. Many don't even know that there are different processes. So if somebody is worshipping Ganesh, well, there's a different process to follow. If somebody is worshipping Shiva, well, there's a different process to follow. Somebody is worshipping Durga, there's a different process to follow. There are very few people worshipping Brahmaji, but there's a different process to follow. Not everybody is following the respective process. If you go to a temple outside of ISKCON, which is generally a demigod temple, well, they have all the Archavigra forms of the various demigods, and they are all worshipping identically. Well, that's not demigod worship at all. Right? You are not going to get any benefit at all. Matan Prabhu?
yes, that makes sense. Yeah, the people go there, they don't have this understanding, or nobody preaches anything about the gradual process there. Because
Correct.
people don't know, people who are running this
It's
temple.
a business. It's a business. Yeah, those temples are business places.
Yeah, so they are in the very bad situation. So
Correct. Yeah, correct. You are correct. Everybody, heavy class?
Yes, Prabhuji, quite heavy.
All right, so we still have 15 minutes. I'm pretty sure you all will agree that I should not cover more mantras today. So the spiritual endeavor for today is that next Sunday, we will finish Sri Iso, the last 4 mantras. The last 4 mantras are very straightforward. They are prayers. Will be a very short class. So I request all of you that you read mantras number 9 to 14 for sure, the translations and purports. Simultaneously also read mantra number 15, 16, 17, 18, and you can bring up your question. They are straightforward mantra. 15, 16, 17, 18 are straightforward. So please read the last 4 mantras also, and you can bring up your questions. Our next class is going to be a very short class. I could have finished today, but I don't want to overwhelm you when you are already overwhelmed. So 6th of July, we will finish Ishopanishad. And then 13th of July, so 12th July Saturday and 13th July Sunday, both days we will not have classes because there's Rath Yatra in Toronto. And from July 20 onwards, we will start Srimad Bhagavatam. So therefore, I request you to bring your questions at our next class for the remaining 4 mantras. Because once we start Srimad Bhagavatam, it is going to be impossible to answer whatever questions you may have. Because we have, you will have so much to follow in Srimad Bhagavatam. Plus, I will post Srila Prabhupada lecture on Nectar of Devotion, and you can listen to those. We still have just about 15 minutes or so. You can use the time to ask any and all questions.
So this Upanishad is originally in Sanskrit and was translated by Prabhupada.
Sri Iso, yeah, all books were originally in Sanskrit, including Sri Iso, and Prabhupada translated.
Who written this original version?
So Upanishads, they will all have existed from before Like the original source is, of course, Krishna, right? All scriptures have existed from before, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Vyasadeva, like Vyasadeva.
Yeah. So understand that all scriptures have existed before creation. So it's all coming from Krishna. Yeah. Vyasadeva wrote it down on paper. Vyasa did not create from scratch. Before Vyasadeva, all scriptures were existing in verbal form only. That the Acharya will have everything in his memory because people used to have very good memory. And he will recite the entire scripture to his disciple, and the disciple will have it in his memory. And we'll discuss this in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.10, that people in Kali Yuga have a very short memory, are unlucky, and therefore Srila Vyasadeva wrote down the scriptures on paper so that the original scriptural knowledge is not lost, because people have very little memory. You judge for yourself. Do you remember what you had for your breakfast like a week ago? As long as you have different breakfast. You have the same breakfast every day, then you will remember. But otherwise, if you have, say, different breakfast, do you remember what you had for breakfast?
No.
Right? So therefore, Srila Vyasadeva wrote it down because our memory is very poor. That's all he did, to write it down. Not start from scratch, just to write down what scriptures were existing in verbal form.
Actually, the Vedas were wrote down by Ganesh, demigod Ganesh. He was reciting it.
Yeah, you are correct. And we will discuss all of that in Srimad Bhagavatam. It's coming up. All right. Rest of you, questions, comments, realizations?
Prabhuji,
Yeah.
will we have any class for Chaitanya Charitamrita?
It's still far away. We still have to go step by step. So,
okay.
so the process is Bhagavad Gita is ABCD, then Srimad Bhagavatam is postgraduate, and then Chaitanya Charitamrita is doctoral level. So it's Srimad Bhagavatam will take at least 5 years. Then you can understand Chaitanya Charitamrita. You cannot just jump.
Oh, okay, Prabhuji.
Very good desire. Are we okay to stop here? Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji.
Krishna Prabhuji.